Very good morning, dear students. Welcome to Learning Radius. Welcome to Learning Radius Current Affairs discussion. In today's discussion, we'll be looking into international issues, the next 10 topics of international issues. In our last discussion, we had a detailed look on international relations and don't miss that particular video. And today, we'll be looking into India and Pakistan sign agreement to strengthen the strategic partnership, India-Myanmar relation, India and Cyprus relation, Israel and Bhutan, Cinemascope, Swadhinata Sarak, first TWG meeting between India, Iran, and Uzbekistan, India and Bangladesh, protocol on transboundary elephant conservation, Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal addresses CII session on post-Brexit UK and India. So these are all the 10 topics what we are going to discuss in today's video. Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal addresses CII session on post-Brexit UK and India. Protocol on transboundary elephant conservation. India and Bangladesh relationship. First TWG meeting between India, Iran, Uzbekistan. Swadhinata Sarak, Cinemascope, Israel and Bhutan, India and Cyprus, India, Myanmar, India and Pakistan sign agreement to strengthen strategic partnership. India and Pakistan sign agreements to strengthen strategic partnership. Prime Minister of the Republic of India, Sri Narendra Modi, and President of Republic of Pakistan, Mr. Shawab Misriao, co-chaired a virtual summit between India and Pakistan on 11 December 2020. This was the news. So once again, Prime Minister of the Republic of India, Sri Narendra Modi, and President of Republic of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, co-chaired a virtual summit between India and Uzbekistan. So Uzbekistan was located, the geography of Uzbekistan, and the boundary and its sharing, that should be clear. At the same time, Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, that geography and the political boundary, that clarity should be there in your mind. Both sides expressed their continued commitment to take India-Uzbekistan strategic partnership to a new and higher level. That's the discussion. And what's the highlights of the discussion? India and Uzbekistan agreed to work towards an early conclusion of bilateral investment treaty to facilitate investment promotion and protection for further improvement of trade and economic cooperation. The leaders agreed to strengthen mutual cooperation in the field of science, technologies and innovation by enhancing direct cooperation between government organizations, research institutes, innovation centers and technological enterprises of two countries. So India and Uzbekistan is into discussion. They agreed to encourage establishment of direct contacts between the various chambers of commerce and industry from both countries and to enhance business exchanges through the established institutional mechanism of the Uzbekistan-India Business Council run by the Confederation of Indian Industry and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Uzbekistan. So this is the discussion between India and Uzbekistan, and they confirmed the approval of $448 million line of credit to be extended by India for 4 development projects in Uzbekistan in the field of road construction, sewerage treatment and information technology. The Indian side reiterated its commitment to further deepen the development partnership between India and Uzbekistan, including under the framework of India-Central Asia Dialogue. So as like I mentioned, India-Central Asia Dialogue is important. At the same time, Central Asia as a region, politically, geographically, there should be clarity in your mind. Next discussion is about India and Myanmar. The 5th India-Myanmar bilateral meeting on drug control cooperation between Narcotic Controls Bureau, India and the Central Committee on Drug Abuse Control, Myanmar was held virtually. Next discussion is India and Myanmar, the 5th India-Myanmar bilateral meeting on drug control cooperation between Narcotic Control Bureau, India and the Central Committee on Drug Abuse Control, Myanmar. So discussion is between the Narcotic Control Bureau At the same time, the Central Committee on Drug Abuse Control, that is between India and Myanmar. The Indian delegation was led by the Director General of Narcotic Control Bureau, Sri Ragesh Asthana, and the Myanmar delegation was led by Commander of the Drug Enforcement Division, cum Joint Secretary of the Central Committee for Drug Abuse Control, Paul Brigade General Wing Nyang. So both countries agreed upon exchange of intelligence information in timely manner to conduct follow-up investigation in drug seizure cases, new psychotropic substances and their precursors. Both countries agreed on the exchange of intelligence information in a timely manner to conduct follow-up investigation in drug seizure cases, new psychotropic substances and their precursors is the basic behind the entire discussion. Next, as India and Cyprus. So as Cyprus is in discussion, your first point is understanding where is Cyprus and the geography of Cyprus, the geopolitical location of Cyprus and the related political discussion too. The fifth round of Foreign Office consultation, FOC, between India and Cyprus were held through virtual mode. That was the discussion. Both sides appreciated the traditionally warm relations and reviewed the cooperation in various fields including political, economic, consular and cultural areas. So the India and Cyprus, the fifth round of Foreign Affairs consultation between India and Cyprus were held through virtual mode. Both sides appreciated the traditionally warm relations and reviewed cooperation in various fields including political, economic, consular, cultural areas. Reviewed the status of agreements and MOUs including those on defense and military cooperation, sports, culture including Ayurveda and agreed to work towards early finalization of these agreements. Exchange views on the crisis in Eastern Mediterranean, occupation of Northern Cyprus and India-EU relations, internal issues of mutual interest and agreed to further enhance cooperation in the UN and other multilateral fora. Next discussion is on Israel and Bhutan. Israel has established diplomatic relations with Bhutan. Bhutan and Israel established formal ties with a formal ceremony in New Delhi where the ambassadors of these countries to India exchange agreements. So India as such is coming in between Israel and Bhutan. Israel has established diplomatic relation with Bhutan, that is a GK, at the same time current affair too. And Bhutan and Israel established formal ties with a formal ceremony in New Delhi where the ambassadors of these countries to India exchange agreements. The development comes 2 days after Israel and Morocco agreed to normalize ties in a date brokered with assistance from US. So Israel and Morocco as it is in discussion and Israel and Bhutan is into discussion. The development comes 2 days after Israel and Morocco agreed to normalize ties in a deal brokered with assistance from US. Morocco became the fourth Arab country. In our earlier discussion, in detail explained Israel and Arab countries discussion. So Morocco became the fourth Arab country after the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain and Sudan to settle differences with Israel in recent months. The establishment of diplomatic relations would create new avenues for cooperation between the two countries in water management, technology, human resource development, agricultural sciences and other areas of mutual benefit. So once again, the establishment of diplomatic relations would create new avenues for cooperation between the two countries in water management, technology, human resource development, agricultural sciences and other areas of mutual benefit. Next is Cinemascope, that is SCOPE, that is we can read it as scope also SCOPE. Now India continued its diplomatic outreach with SCO countries, Shanghai Cooperation Organization countries, with its soft power further cementing the people-to-people connection. Indian Embassy in Beijing launched a movie series, Cinemascope, exclusive for the SCO family, in which the embassy will be screening more than 24 Indian movies dubbed in Russian on a monthly basis, beginning with the movie 3 Idiots till India's chairmanship of the SCO Council of Heads of State meeting in 2023. So that is about Indian Embassy in Beijing. Indian Embassy in Beijing launched a movie series, Cinemascope, exclusive for the SCO family, in which the embassy will be screening more than 24 Indian movies dubbed in Russian on a monthly basis, beginning with the movie 3 Idiots till India's chairmanship of the SCO Council of Head of State meeting in 2023. The event was jointly inaugurated by Indian Ambassador to China, Vikram Misri, and SCO Secretary General Vladimir Norov in a cheerful atmosphere. The event was attended by nearly 100 diplomats from SCO country and neighboring countries who share their fondness for Indian cinema and culture. The Cinemascope event will coincide with the SCO Year of Culture in 2021 as SCO celebrates its 20 years of formation. So, SCO is very important because 2021 is the 20th year. At the same time, Cinemascope, SCOP, that is also relevant, the objective of SCOP that I conveyed, and this year, SCO Year of Culture. So, that also should be there in your mind. So, that's about Cinemascope. India continued its diplomatic outreach with SCO countries with its soft power further cementing people-to-people connection. So, right from fundamental, what is SCO, what is the objectives of SCO, when it is formed, what is Cinemascope, what is the objective of Cinemascope, and what are the major activities of SCO right in this particular area. These all are the content you're supposed to be there in your mind. Now, what is Shanghai Cooperation Organization? We know it was preceded by the Shanghai 5 mechanism, and what is the major goals of Shanghai Cooperation Organization that should be there in your mind. Now, then it is Swadhinata Sarak. Swadhinata Sarak, it's a term between Bangladesh and India will be open 26 March 2021. The road remains functional on Indian side while it will be connected through Mujibnagar, Mehrapur district in Bangladesh. Chilahati-Haldirbari rail link, which was active till 1965, will be inaugurated during the summit meeting between the two prime ministers on December 17. That's a discussion. So, Swadhinata Sarak between Bangladesh and India will be open on 26 March 2021. That was a discussion came in newspaper. So, Swadhinata Sarak between Bangladesh and India will be open on 26 March 2021. The road remains functional on the Indian side while it will be connected through Mujibnagar, Mehrapur district in Bangladesh. Chilahati-Haldirbari rail link, which was active till 1965, will be inaugurated during the summit meeting between the two prime ministers on December 17. That was the discussion. Next one is first TWG meeting between India, Iran and Pakistan. The first trilateral working group, that is TWG, trilateral working group, meeting between India, Iran and Pakistan. That itself UPSC can frame a question, the countries in the TWG or the countries in the trilateral working group, or they can frame statement related to TWG, that is trilateral working group. The first trilateral working group meeting between India, Iran and Pakistan on the joint use of Chabahar port was held virtually. The meeting was jointly chaired by Secretary Sanjeev Ranjan, Government of India, Deputy Minister of Transport of Republic of Uzbekistan, Dr. D. Rekhanov, and Deputy Transport Minister of Islamic Republic of Iran, Mr. Shahram Adabnejad. So this was the team behind. The participant discussed joint use of Chabahar port for trade and transit purpose and enhanced regional connectivity. All sides also noted the significant role played by Chabahar port for the region to deliver humanitarian assistance during the COVID pandemic. So the Chabahar port is in discussion. UPSC asked a very clear question from Chabahar port in our earlier preliminary examinations. So once again, Chabahar port is into discussion and the geography of Chabahar port should be clear in your mind. All sides welcome India's proposal to hold Chabahar Day on the sideline of the International Maritime Summit scheduled to be hosted by India in January 2021. The meeting was held as a follow-up decision taken during the virtual summit held between Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and President Mr. Shaukat Mirziyoyev of Uzbekistan. So here it is the discussion between India, Iran and Uzbekistan, and the first trilateral working group meeting between India, Iran and Uzbekistan on the joint use of Chabahar port. So the trilateral working group as such is on the joint use of Chabahar port, and that has such happened virtually. So that's the discussion about. Next topic of discussion is India and Bangladesh. India and Bangladesh signed MOU and agreement during the virtual summit between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. That was the discussion between India and Bangladesh. The agreement includes framework of understanding on cooperation in the hydrocarbon sector. In the field of energy, both the countries agreed to promote two-way investment, technology transfer, joint studies and capacity building in hydrocarbon. The India-Bangladesh Friendship Pipeline currently being built in supply high-speed diesel from Siliguri in India to Parbatipur in Bangladesh will add to this. So this is a discussion between India and Bangladesh, and MOU regarding Indian grant assistance for implementation of high impact community development project through local bodies and other public sector institutions. The framework agreement on HICDP is a 10-year agreement allowing for projects amounting to 5 million taka. It is double the amount of what was previously admitted. Projects in the field of education, health and sanitation, water treatment, cultural heritage aimed at increased socio-economic development of local communities are taken up under this agreement. MOU for supply of equipment, improvement of garbage, solid waste disposal ground at Lamchari area of Barishal City Corporation, MOU on cooperation in the field of agriculture, MOU between Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Khan Memorial Museum, Dhaka, Bangladesh and National Museum, New Delhi. All these are into discussion. So, India and Bangladesh signed 7 MOU and agreements during the virtual summit between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, that is into discussion. Next topic of discussion is Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal addresses CII session on post-Brexit UK and India. Union Minister of Railway, Industry and Commerce and Food and Consumer Affairs, Shri Piyush Goyal addresses CII session on post-Brexit UK and India along with Ms. Truss, Secretary of State for International Trade for UK. So, Union Minister of Railway, Industry and Commerce and Food and Consumer Affairs, Shri Piyush Goyal addresses CII session on post-Brexit UK and India along with Ms. Truss, Secretary of State for Secretary of State for International Trade for UK. So that is into discussion. Now, Shri Goyal hoped that early harvest proposition of India within the framework of a large free trade agreement, which we are working towards, will be accepted by UK. He said that the early harvest proposition will help us grab the low-hanging fruit so that both sides can enjoy the taste of the wonderful fruit. According to India, both the nations have time-tested relationship which need to be reinvigorated at the political, business as well as the social spectrum. So that's a discussion between India and UK, and both sides have agreed to work together in many sectors like education, health, environment, easier movement of people, larger investment flows. Identify 6 to 7 sectors between India and UK where we have had focused engagement. All the priority sectors have huge promise, and investment in India will be happy to assist any UK companies through the entire life cycle. The Minister also mentioned about Indian Railway, which is undergoing massive transformation. He said that it will be the largest railway in the world to be fully electrified. So that's a discussion between Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal addresses CII session on post-Brexit UK and India. So that's about the 10 topics in connection with. So have a great time, have a peaceful learning, have a very productive learning. Calm version is the most productive version. Have an extra eye on all these topics. At the same time, work out the premium preliminary question papers and take an extra edge in your overall preparation. Have a great time and meet you in the next video. And the next video will be discussing the next 10 topics of international relations. Have a great time. Thank you.